Thanks, Hannah. Hi, everyone out there. Hope everyone's doing well, and thank you for everyone who joined us in the room. So I'm going to get started with a small presentation. This was a video that we uploaded on YouTube, having some fun on the STEM chairs with our head of library technology and innovation, Joey Collard, and our Cohen Papers archivist, Herb Didersdorf, a few months back. And so just a general vibe of welcoming everybody to have fun in the library, both academically and through our spaces in terms of the partnerships we're having with the student life and other offices. So I've started in the evolution of my thinking about my role here. I've started calling all the areas that report to the Dean of Libraries Fogler Plus, to make it clear that we're more than this library Fogler here in Orono, which is being shown on the upper left-hand screen with the behind-the-scenes video, which is an initiative we took on social media to help folks who aren't accustomed to coming to the library as much know what happens behind the scenes. So Michael Dunn is our circulation specialist, one of 11, who is mailing materials out to other parts of the state. We support interlibrary loan and work closely with other libraries throughout the state. On the upper right-hand side is Merrill Library in Machias, and that's a therapy dog event, which we also have here at Fogler Library. So just showcasing Merrill's programs there. Our therapy dog event will happen in late April, and it usually happens about 3 times a year. On the lower left is Maine Impact, which is a consortial group that supports the whole infrastructure of the library network of the entire state of Maine. And there are 7 staffers with an executive director. Some of the staff report to UMaine, to Fogler, and some to the Maine State Library. And on the lower right is the University of Maine Press's most recent publication, Becoming Modern, which is the second part of a history of the University of Maine. And the University Press Director, Michael Albert, will be retiring in May. So we have an acting press director, the Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs, Gabe Paquette, and we'll be having a book launch for Becoming Modern and a retirement celebration as well in early May for Michael. So I wanted to start with all the resources that you've come to know and love of Fogler that are part of the traditional library. We still have our research and instruction department, which used to be called Reference, but now research and instruction, I think, makes clear what we're providing, which is teaching information literacy and having consultations in person and also virtually. Some of the examples in the middle of the screen indicate some of the innovative programs we've had, like Mystery in the Stacks, so using gaming as part of information literacy to make it more engaging for students. The middle one, the questions about PFAs, is a research guide or LibGuide as they're called. And if you go to our research section of our website, you'll see a lot of different LibGuides or research guides on many different topics that are contemporary, related to contemporary events and of interest. And our recent workshop, AI in the Classroom, which was held in January of this year. So that's research and instruction, still going strong. And next, I wanted to talk about special collections and projects, which is the expanded name of special collections. Oh, excuse me. No, I want to talk about collection development. I'm sorry. And I should have just put collections or collection development, but this unit, which is an acquisitions area on the 3rd floor of the library, that's more hidden, but does a lot of work for the entire University of Maine system and the whole library system within this university.
Can you hold on one
Yeah.
second? Can everybody see on Zoom the Zoom presentation? Okay, just want to make sure. Charles was having a little trouble seeing it, so I'm going to email that to him.
Okay. So Deb Rollins, our head of collection services, has been doing a lot of work in terms of the open access publication movement that's growing stronger every year. And in terms of the new requirements or relatively new requirements related to publications that have government funding within a certain threshold amount, There's a move to more open access journals, and one of our professors, Dan Samwise, is here also that brought this to our attention among others. And so Deb has been working on some what are called transformative agreements to try to waive the article processing charges that are usually charged to faculty, and have these journals available through or allow our authors to publish in these journals and make them open access without incurring extra fees. So that's been one of the main thrusts of the collection department, among all the other great things they do supporting the entire system. And on the next screen, there's the special collections and projects, which thanks, Vic. Special collections and projects. So you've known this unit or department as special collections. We added the term projects because when I got here, I realized that there was a need for an open scholarship portion of this department, and which I'll talk about a little later. So they still do all of the processing of finding aids, etc., for archival material, whether it's university material or not. We recently started housing the mascot costumes in special collections, and there's some photographs there, some visitors from the Williams family visiting special collections a few months back, and on the left is some images from our archival collection, and in the upper middle there's a Green Valley exhibit we have with the dinosaur playing in the background a few months back. Next screen, thank you. So this is what I meant about the growing team. These are just pictures of us either doing our work or tabling off outside of our building, or just having fun in one way or another. And we're hiring, we've either hired or are hiring a few people to build our open scholarship unit. So the open scholarship librarian will be coming on board on May 1st of this year, and will support faculty in open access type publications, but also related to digital commons uploading and other possible digital projects yet to be seen. We're in the works for hiring a GIS librarian, and that's to support all the digital projects that seem to be most heavily collaborated on this campus, which is GIS or Geographic Information System related. And we're also going to hire an OER or Open Education Resources Librarian to support equity in terms of the students' access to textbook materials. And the OER librarian will be supporting the adoption along with the research instruction department in terms of adopting OER, but the Open Scholarship librarian will be supporting the creation of these types of materials, which involves a lot of training also. So on the next screen, there's existing partnerships we have here in the building, including Writing Center has a space here. The UMaine ITE staff supports patrons here. And I wanted to mention that we're currently in the process of having discussions about a student success center on campus. I'm co-chairing along with Associate Provost Scott Marzilli. And we're still in conversation about what this will look like, but the hope, at least from the library, is that any offices or partnership that comes to the library supports the whole research and learning cycle and is academic in nature. So I'm hopeful that a learning commons style type space will be what lands here in the Fogler Library. Recently, the Oaks Room opened up again with some vending machines via UMaine dining services, and hopefully you're all on our newsletter. If you aren't, you can sign up to see more about the Salon series that we've been developing in partnership with many offices on campus, including the Counseling Center, the Center for Student Involvement, the Office of International Programs, and Student Wellness. On the next screen are some images of our Salon series. There's two upcoming ones. On the left-hand side, you see From Surviving to Thriving, ensuring that we support the whole international student, which came about because I was attending a CITL, or Center for Innovation in Teaching and Learning book club, where the book America Calling by Dr. Rajika Bandari was being read, and noticing that there was a need on campus for more dialogue about how we can support international students. So that's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. It's hybrid, it's on our website, so if you can't make it in person, please join us hybrid. If not, please come to the salon tomorrow. That one will be recorded, although I'm probably not helping the case of you coming by saying it's recorded. The one on the right, though, is an event that was proposed to me by the director of the Counseling Center, Angela Felicia. And she brought together a great team of panelists and a moderator who will be working on this in April 18th, which is close to the 420 day, because the topic is weed and, interrogating, I guess, the myths and facts about cannabis. So that's gonna be April 18th, it's a Thursday at 6 p.m. Same thing, it's gonna be a hybrid event, but it won't be recorded. Some of our events are being recorded and they're of a sensitive nature where we want people to really be engaged, and that's the focus. We are opting not to record. And so those are just some of the images of the past salons, including we were featured by News Center Maine on TV. So that was kind of cool for our first year of salon series. Move on to the next one, Joey, thank you. So these are just some other partnerships, but you didn't ever expect that the Fogler Library was going to turn into a casino, but one of the student life folks, Brandon Traxel, and a few others, and Colleen Frazier, and I think it's James Saladis, they really proposed this event to us. It's a winter carnival that they have every year. And I think maybe they were motivated by the look of the Jones Room, which is a little bit dark and looked like a casino with the lighting, and the fact that this room is called the Salon now. And so they thought, oh, why not make it a saloon for mocktails? And so they had hobby horse racing. You see on the right side, they recorded themselves on hobby horses in the rec center. And then that night, it was 5 to 9 on March 2nd. I could hear everyone screaming because they either won or lost a bet, I presume, during that time, because every 20 minutes somebody was losing or winning a bet. And so they had a mechanical bull, they had a petting zoo, not a petting zoo, for calves. They were petting calves outside in the alumni parking lot, and they had a stuff a buddy or a bear activity. And one of our student employees crocheted that humane sweater for the bear while on duty that night. So there was a lot of fun to be had. We've also partnered with ArcSim on Love Data Week, as well as the Center for Student Involvement, which always brings their final survival kit event. I think it's usually in January, but it may change. So just opening up Boulder to be a place that is not stuffy in the traditional sense of academics, but making the salon a place where there's conversations that you want to stay until midnight or long, well, not longer, but maybe during extended hours, so that you can have academic conversations in an informal atmosphere, and also make it fun, because just because you're studying doesn't mean it can't be fun. So we were very happy to partner with Student Life on our Western Winter Carnival, and I'm thankful also that the team here at Fogler was open-minded enough to do this, and we're very supportive. We had a whole, I think it was like 8 of us, some of you in the room supporting this. I'm very grateful for that. The next screen, and just letting you know that we're also trying to make sure that we're open to the community. Folks think of us as humane, but in our salon series, front and center, we put information about parking that is open after 4 p.m. and we try to schedule the events for later in the evening so that the community can come on board. We had a very well attended event called the Maine Horror Authors readings around Halloween time, because I asked the staff if they would consider having us be part of the Halloween weekend event that happens here every year. And so that was very well attended and generated excitement. And traditionally, I think I don't know if it's 5 or 10 years, they've had the Human Dimensions of Climate Change film series, which is also of interest to anyone in the community, not just Humane. And the Thrive Together design that you see on the right is by a Mi'kmaq artist named Jennifer Pictou, who I've requested and commissioned an art piece from her, as well as another artist named Jennifer Gallipo for the Fogler Library, just to signal that we're here for the entire community. We have the MOU with the Penobscot Nation, and there's different ways that we're trying to collaborate with the community, and this is just another way to make sure that everyone feels represented and welcome here. It's been great working with them, and I'm excited to see what they are putting together. we'll have more details on that as things come to fruition. Beyond campus, I'm also like to mention that we're a federal depository library for Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. So we have a lot of questions come to us related to government documents. We're the only patent and trademark resource center in Maine, and you'll be hearing from our PTRC representative, who's also our business and economics librarian, John Hutchinson. So every time I have a tea, we'll be featuring another part of Fogler Plus so that everyone knows all the great things we're doing. We're also designated by the state legislature as the Maine Business Science and Technology Library, and that's the bookmark you see on the right. And we're starting conversations about how to promote, especially the PTRC and MBSTL, the Maine Business Science and Technology Library, across the state, excuse me, because we're a research for the entire state. So in the middle, John Hutchinson worked on an exhibit on Chester Greenwood a few months ago, and someone suggested that, oh, you know, Farmington has a Chester Greenwood Days, and since I've been asking staff to apply for traveling exhibits from other places, for example, we had a Who Can Vote exhibit come from the Gilder Lehrman Institute in New York City. And so someone suggested, how about having a traveling exhibit from our library elsewhere? So we're thinking of creating banners that would travel and seeking grant funding for that. So that's another thing to look forward to try to promote all the good work that's done at Fogler Plus throughout the state. And these are just some other points about how Fogler Library provides funding also and services in general for the entire University of Maine library system. We're playing an integral role in URSS, and some of my URSS and also Maine Info colleagues are pictured there in various events, and still including our my predecessor, Dean Joyce Romery. And it's just letting you know that there's a lot more than meets the eye in terms of Fogler Plus, and you're free to ask questions about it, and hopefully you'll learn more as you sign up for our newsletter or read our magazine. And I wanted you also to know that some of you out there are donors to our Fogler Plus funds, including some of the staff, I should say. And these are just some pictures of times when we visited with our donors, or they visited us. I'll provide, some of them are viewing the special collections and projects area. In the middle, we have donors Joyce Romery and Ken Olson with foundation president Ken Mills. Jeff Mills, why am I blanking out? And pardon Jeff, hope there's another. Give me a pass. So that was at one of our salons where Ken Olson spoke about Acadia and partnerships between nonprofits and the government. And on the left, you may not realize it, but we have many different funds that you can donate to here at Fogler Plus, including the Michael H. Albert University of Maine Press Fund, the Joyce Romery Fund, which supports professional development, programming, and other high needs, areas of high need. And also, following the footsteps of Joyce, I created a Flourish Fund for professional development. And I named it that way because as I joke, when I'm long gone, no one's gonna remember me, but you don't have to have a paragraph description. The fund says it's for professional development, and it supports all Fogler Plus staffers in that capacity, as I've told the staff before, because there's a lot of team building that goes on when you make a transition to a new place. And although this presentation is mostly to highlight the services that we provide to the public, I would like the staff to know and feel that they are supported, whether they're here for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, that they use it as a stepping stone to grow, whether it's in libraries, in this library, or wherever they may go. So we have all these funds and then some. So I just wanted to make sure you know, and I wanted to give these images to shout out some of the donors who are pictured here. O'Brien, the late Polly Camp, who recently passed, and we enjoyed a lunch, thankfully. I think it was sometime last year where she was regaling Paige Holmes and I about her encounter taking Salvador Dali's jacket from him when she worked somewhere in New York City. And Cheryl Coffin and Ralph Tabo in their home in Surrey. And the upper right is the Weber family. And on the upper right, you'll notice that we always thank all the generous donors of Fogler for the Salon series because it's thanks to you all that those are possible. On the left is the recently renamed Donald Gould presentation room, which was named in memory of Don by his spouse, Kathy. And these are our wonderful philanthropy officers and associate directors, et cetera, of the foundation. So Hannah Young is a proud Black bear and introduced me earlier today. So she's the main contact for anything Fogler Press related. Some of you out there may have worked already with Paige Holmes, and that relationship will stay. There's Paige in her Katniss outfit for our Fogler Library literary costume party, or what was, I forgot the exact name, but we had a good time, and everyone, well, not everyone, but there was a significant amount of staff, a number of staff who dressed up, and Karen Campbell, also our Associate Director of Plan and Giving. So I think the last thing I just wanted to say is make sure that you connect with us in different ways. Our last Fogler magazine last year featured this image that we found out about when we had a social media campaign called What's Your Fogler Story, so that we could find out what is it that you remember about Fogler. And we had Kate Turlo, I think it is. Her parents met in Fogler Library in '57. And then I think her and some siblings attended Maine. She got married to someone who I think was also an alumnus, and he worked on like a roofing project with Fogler. So he drew this painting on a slab from the Fogler roof. So you couldn't make up that story. So we used it, and with the courtesy of Katie. And next year, or this year, I should say, we're featuring the Patent and Trademark Resource Center and have stories lined up for that, as well as other things that we're working on. And the middle screen is our newsletter. We have a newsletter for everyone in Maine, and we have one also for Fogler Plus friends. And those are just some of the ways that you can connect with us on social media. So that's the formal end of my presentation. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to take them.
This isn't really a question, but many years ago, the VPR used to run a series called Research Cafe. And that might be something worth partnering with him to bring. I mean, it's a new VPR, but to bring back here where different investigators from campus talk about their research for a general public.
Okay, thank you.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Research Cafe.
Research Cafe. They used to have mugs.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna.
They used to have mugs, Research Cafe mugs. I've still got one somewhere.
Cool.
The logo wore off in the dishwasher, but
Okay.
You're not supposed to put those things in
yeah,
dishwashers.
I know. It's easier though.
Okay, thanks, great. Yes, I guess I'm just saying uniformly, yeah, I'm open to other ideas, and you've been a great supporter in terms of the transformative agreements and other questions you've had about digital commons, et cetera, so I appreciate it. We're always willing to listen, yeah.
And I was glad that digital commons isn't going away, that was a bad rumor.
Yeah, digital commons is not going away, it's just a portion of it, and with our.
That I don't use, so I don't care.
Right. Yeah. So if there's no questions, I can also take them through the chat, and if, and I'll pass the mic over to John Hutchinson, and we can keep the conversation going. My email is available also if anybody wants to get in touch, and my office is usually open when I'm not in a meeting.
Okay.
Why don't you sit here and.
Okay.
All
right.
Hello, everyone, online and in person. My name is John Hutchinson. Like the screen says, I'm the business librarian at University of Maine, and I'm the representative for the Patent and Trademark Resource Center that's located on the first floor of Fogler Library. Oh, and it's an animation, so I should have turned off the animations. I'm sorry, Joey. Can you do the next one? Okay. See, in recent years, the number of applications for both patents and trademarks has skyrocketed. It went through the roof during the pandemic and has not come down. So more people and organizations than ever are seeking protection for both of these intellectual properties, both patents and trademarks. Next. Now, the application processes for patent and trademarks are not widely understood, and to be frank, what a patent and trademark actually is not widely understood by many people, and people tend to have misconceptions about them. Okay. Next. What they have in common is they're both administered by the United States Patent and Trademark Office, which is an agency of the United States Department of Commerce. Next. They're very different from each other, but they both can offer important legal protections. Next. They both involve what can be a lengthy and expensive application process. And next, and they both extend rights solely to the 50 United States and their territories. Next. And they both can be greatly helped by a thorough search of the appropriate government databases. And that's an important thing to remember going forward, and it relates to what the PTRC does. About trademarks, I want to note that the following these slides are drawn in part from the printing materials presented by the great Jason Lott of the USPTO during the annual PTRC Resource Center training seminar. It's all right. Next. Okay. Yeah. Now, what a trademark identifies the source of goods or services, and your trademark distinguishes itself from the goods and services of other products on the market. And trademarks also provide legal protection for a brand at the federal level. Next. Next again. Okay. Now, trademark can be the brand name. It can be a slogan. It can be a logo, like those logos on the right there. It can be packaging. Notice that there's a Coke bottle there. The Coca-Cola logo on the bottle is a trademark, but actually the shape of the bottle itself is a trademark. That's called trade dress. That's the technical USPTO term for it. You can even trademark musical notes. Those little tones that Netflix makes when you boot it up. The dung dung dung, the NBC theme. Those are trademarked and have been for almost 100 years. It has to be a distinguishing feature of the product, and those are all registrable trademarks. But okay, now, but why even get a trademark? You get a trademark because your trademark will be registered throughout the country, not just one state or another geographical area. If there's an infringement, you can bring it to federal court. Your trademark can be registered for the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. It helps prevent the importation of counterfeit and knockoff products. And you can use the coveted circle R symbol, the R in a circle. Do not use the circled R without an official registration. Severe fines will result, and they will find you.
They'll find you and find you.
Yes, both. However, not every trademark is registrable, and not every trademark is enforceable. A trademark must avoid confusion with other brands. You have to be aware of what's out there. And if your proposed mark looks similar to a mark that is being used for a similar product. Think of now, this is the biggest reason to research what's out there is to find out if there's a likelihood of confusion. It doesn't have to be an exact match. If it's just even if something is similar in spelling or similar in pronunciation, you cannot be similar to any trademark selling a related product. A great trademark search, you have to consider marquee spellings and pronunciations, including incorrect ones. If I read this next part out loud, it wouldn't make much sense, which is kind of the point, because all those words sound like the word marquee, but they're spelled differently. But sound alike can still be a sound infringement. If there are two similar products with the first spelling, M-A-R-K-Y, and another spelling of M-A-R-Q-U-I, they could infringe on each other because they sound the same. And keep those foreign translations in mind. If you name your product Sheep Incorporated, there's another similar product called Mouton. That's a problem. They're not spelled anything the same, but it's the same thing in another language. You got to think about that too. Okay, moving on to patents. And I promise this is going to loop back around to why the PTRC exists. A patent is a legal agreement giving its owner the right to exclude others from manufacturing, using, marketing, selling, and offering for sale or importing an invention for a specified period of time. And each patent has to be novel, useful, and non-obvious. Now, if this were a full patent presentation, which I'll be giving during Maine Impact Week, I discussed all three of those things. But I'm going to be discussing the term novel. Go ahead. must have at least one novel aspect. The entire invention need not be entirely new. It has to have one new aspect. Go ahead. It has to not exist and not, it should be existing, not existing, I'm sorry, in what's called the prior art, which is a strange term that I think only the USPTO ever uses, but prior art is any evidence that the invention is already known. The prior art doesn't need to exist physically or even commercially available, but just if someone somewhere sometime has described or shown or made something public that contains a use of technology that's similar to your invention. As the European Patent Office puts it, a prehistoric cave painting can be prior art. A piece of technology that's centuries old can be prior art. Yes, your invention can be turned down if your invention resembles something from 200 years ago. If it's in prior art, and a previously described idea that cannot possibly work can be prior art. Anything it's prior art.
So,
yeah. Oh, okay.
so if you have like the prehistoric cave painting, if it's not been patented by somebody else, it's still prior art and you can't
The
do
prior art, as the next slide will show,
it. Okay,
Joey, doesn't have to be a patent. It can be published patent applications, published theses, journals, magazine articles, books, manuals, catalogs, websites, conference proceedings, anything that's publicly available.
Just exists.
Yes, prior art is anything that exists and is publicly available. And notice it puts YouTube videos, blogs, social media, and popular culture. I've heard of a patent for a medical restraint that was turned down because they found a similar medical restraint being used as a prop in a movie where they're seen in a hospital.
oh my God. So, sorry to interrupt again, but
It's all right.
what about for trademarks? Same thing applies? Is prior art an issue for a trademark? What if you want?
It can be,
use
well, as,
like a bison from Lascaux or something?
okay, briefly. Trademarks are unique in that it has to be, your mark has to be resembling something that is in a similar line of, a similar business. It can be the same word can exist in the marketplace. I assume everyone hearing my voice, you've heard of Delta Airlines.
Yeah.
Probably heard of Delta Faucets. And Delta Dental. They don't go suing each other because, you know, one's an airline and one's a faucet company. But if there was another, hypothetically, and I say that a lot at the PTRC, hypothetically, if there is a Delta airline and some joker decided I'm going to name my airline Alpha Airlines with another kind of triangle-y kind of logo, they can say, no, mine's Alpha and they're Delta, it doesn't matter. And Delta would say, no, actually it does. It's because it's still a Greek letter and your Alpha looks a lot like our Delta. So that could possibly be infringement.
Okay.
That's prior art. And in both cases, searching the prior art is vital. All patents should search the prior art. That includes previous patents and patent applications. Fortunately, all patents and patent applications are publicly available and can be searched from the USPTO website. Any resemblance of any publicly available information to a claim of your application can result in rejection. And rejection can even occur if your application resembles an earlier failed application. I have a big name I can use as an example. You probably all heard of Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian patented a foundational undergarment, now known as Skims. And all patent application communications back and forth are publicly available too. And I looked up her application process and she had a lot of initial rejections because her patent application resembled a similar patent application and that patent application failed. So you can even be turned down if it resembles a failed application. Possibly, hypothetically. And unlike trademarks, big difference here. Trademark examiners only look at existing registered trademarks.
Okay.
Patent examiners look everywhere. They look at publicly available information in the press, scientific literature, popular culture, everywhere. The last breed of searching Green Berets worked for the patent office and trademark office in terms of being able to look everywhere and find everything.
Do they?
Yeah.
Is it harder to get a patent now because of in the digital age, it's easier to find everything everywhere? Do they
I could think
find
that.
more?
I could think that is true, sir. Yeah, that it's easier that now with the amount of things that are online, it's easier to do a search throughout the world.
And find out ways to reject it.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I will say though, before I continue, in patent, this is true of trademark examiners and patent examiners. They're not there as bulletproof gatekeepers keeping everybody out. Quite often, the communication between the applicant and the patent office can include suggestions for, okay, I reject your trademark as it is. However, if you make this change, it might help.
Okay.
You might do this. And actually, my colleagues in the patent office tell you, if you have a patent examiner and they have turned down like 50 applications in a row, that they'll get it right up and say, look, those couldn't possibly all be unpatentable. I think you're just saying no every single time. You got to justify this. That's why when they give a rejection, to see these rejections, the rejection slips just go, they don't just send a letter saying, you cannot have a patent, the end. They have a long description
Say why.
with why, yeah. And Kim Kardashian got her patent because she and her lawyer read it and said, oh, okay, so they got a problem with this, and this. Let's just change this, and this, and see if that works. And it did, and that's why Kim Kardashian and her company has a patent now. But it's vital to search it before you apply. Patents, you need to have novelty. Trademarks, you need to avoid any similar to any existing mark for similar product. You got to search the existing registrations. That's what the PTRC does. Can help people how to learn how to do the search themselves. There's a picture of myself. And that's actually in the PTRC right downstairs. PTRCs have been around in one form or another since 1871. Today, there are 85 of them in the United States, usually in academic or public libraries. This is the only one in the state, which I think Dean Dominguez said. Dean Dominguez saying, I mean, sorry,
Okay.
sorry. And go ahead.
So there are only 85 in the entire country?
Yes.
Wow.
Although there are new ones coming up all the time. Actually, there might be 86 because they just got one. They just got one at the University of Iowa.
That's still not very many. We're
No, it's
lucky to
not.
have
They're-
one here.
Yeah, and this is the only one in the state. And if we weren't here, then somebody from Holton or wherever would have to go all the way to UNH in Durham.
And who wants to go to UNH?
Yeah, I certainly would.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, oh, you want to be here, 5-0.
Oh, yeah, details to be worked out, but there will be, we're working out the details of me going to the Portland Gateway. In Portland it's located on 4th Street. And it's possible I'll be going there periodically to serve as a visiting PTRC.
Are most of your resources now electronic, so you can just take your computer and have access to everything?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because the answer to that used to be no, because it used to be that to get the full range of the search engines that are available to the federal government, you would have to come into a PTRC and book time on a passworded computer, but the patent office has made that's the good news and bad news. The good news is that anybody can access the patent trademark search and the trademark search and the patent search. Anybody can access those. Those are free. No registration needed. You can register, and there's some neat features if you do, but you can just pop on and do a patent search and do a trademark search. The bad news is that it's still not any more user-friendly than it used to be.
If you don't know what you basically need, but they need somebody like you.
Yes.
But if you go with your laptop, you can
Yes,
help them. do
because
it.
we are trained all the time.
Mhm.
And
Sounded like.
because the patent office, the patent search just launched about 18 months ago. And the trademark search just launched two months ago. And I'm not an employee. I work for the library. I work PTRC, so I think I'm free to criticize what the government did, is that they took the old trademark search out completely. There was almost no overlap. They launched a new trademark search, they took the old trademark search down, and the new trademark search is so different from the old trademark search. And the old trademark search has been around for decades. So it was really entrenched and people have been using it for a long time. But luckily, as soon as they launched it, same day they said, okay, everybody schedule training. We're gonna have beginning training and advanced training, everybody do it. So I've been training myself with it ever since. So The big part of what I do is helping people learn how to do a search. Go ahead. Oh, and not just that, we also have a library of brochures and pamphlets on patents and trademarks. You can see, I'm standing by the shelf of where they are. In the photograph on my right, on the shelf are a bunch of pamphlets and trademarks aimed at the general public, and on the other side, that shelf is something that might be going away, which is paper copies of the plant patents. I like this picture because the person I'm helping there is named Lincoln. And I like the fact because Lincoln was the only US president to have ever patented an invention. So, well, coincidence for it.
What did he?
He patented an invention for that would, if a riverboat runs aground, the way you can get it unstuck using mechanisms on board. So cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this Lincoln on the screen is one of our student ambassadors, no?
I don't know.
Separate,
Might
I'm
be.
pretty sure he's the student ambassador, which is another program we have here in Fogler.
Mhm. Go ahead, Joey.
I was on a riverboat that ran aground in the Amazon once, and it took 4 hours to get it unstuck, and they probably could have used Lincoln's invention. Did a pretty cool way.
So, and the PTRC will help show people how to search for both trademarks and patents in the appropriate databases, and printing is free. The only, go ahead. What I can't do, I can,
But he is an ambassador.
Huh?
That student is one of our.
there you go, not surprised. As a PTRC rep, I can't give anyone legal advice. And I can't judge whether your invention is patentable or your trademark is registrable. I can not help you with your application. I'm criticizing myself here. That would be a job for an attorney, not just an attorney, but also the PTO has an inventor and a trademark assistance helpline. You can call 1-800, their 1-800 line, and they are allowed to help you with your application form. So they do have some helplines that they try to help people. I can offer free information about the USPTO policy. I'll just give you the party line. I can navigate the website and show you it's a great website, and I can show you how to do a search on the official USPTO databases for patents and trademarks. Go ahead. And coming up in Maine Impact Week, there'll be 2 PTRC related events, both on Friday, April 12th, the last day of Maine Impact Week 2024. In the morning, I'll give a presentation explaining patents and trademarks in more detail, including their application processes. There'll be a hybrid. And the afternoon, 3 to 4:30, I'm going to run a hands-on workshop showing how to do a search for both patents and trademarks. That's my contact information right there. And lastly, last slide. Thanks for attending and have a nice day.
Thank you.